Hi, it's very likely that one of your possible New Year's resolutions was to improve or learn a language. So today we're talking about two essential topics. While learning more than a language is not a big problem, my language learning goals from a teacher's point of view. So before we dive into the languages I don't know, I want to talk about the ones I know very briefly. My native languages are Italian and Polish. I've always been in Italy, I was born in Italy, I've always studied in Italy, so it's much easier for me to communicate, to do everything business related, socially. And then we have Polish, so my family is from Poland and I've always listened to Polish. I've always spoken Polish with my parents, with my family, and I also attended university in Poland, so I have a mix. Of course, I know English because I also became a teacher of it. So Polish and Italian are my acquired languages, and then I've learned English. It's something I worked on a lot by myself and a lot at university. And I graduated in English philology, And a language I have studied for quite some years, and this drives me insane. French. I was good. Okay, so before I start speaking levels, I will show you. So the Common European Framework of Reference. I was basically a B1. I feel that if I had continued, I would have been a B2. It was actually achievable, and I love French. It's a language I adore. I love the sound of it. And I also took a course in French in tourism, so I had this kind of vocabulary and all this language of tourism, airports, hotels, restaurants. I loved it. And I stopped speaking, listening, reading. I stopped doing everything in French, and now je ne sais pas. I can't speak French. I have such a hard time understanding or even trying to produce some sort of French speech, because it's like working out. Language is like, working out or having a good skincare. You need to practice, you need to keep it going. If you stop, you just leave the language there. It drives me insane because I could understand and speak French. And I've also been trying to study Spanish for a while, but with very poor results. So the languages I know are Italian, Polish, and English. All Indo-European languages, but they are from different branches. I will leave in the description box a picture which is amazing from The Guardian. It's a lovely illustration. They are different branches because we have a Romance language, a Germanic language, and a Slavic language. I have experience with these kind of languages, and of course there are differences, but it makes it easier. The reason why I want to learn more than a language this year is because I will study languages from a different level. We'll get to it. And they are not the same exact families, so it's easier to distinguish them. Alright, and let's get into the languages in detail. The most important thing when you want to learn a language is to have solid motivation. Teachers are taught this thing that if you don't have a reason, if you don't have that kind of motivation that drives you, it is so much more difficult. I'm not saying that if you're motivated, it's a piece of cake, of course, but having a purpose, having a strong source of motivation, it helps a lot. If I listen to French creators or if I watch some sort of French piece of content, I want to understand it. So I will work on my vocabulary, of course. I definitely need to brush up on my grammar, and I need to do loads of practice with listening, writing, and speaking, because those are the areas in which I'm so weak. The reading part, I'm much better. It still needs practice, of course. I know that those areas I mentioned, I would love to know some advanced expressions as well, and I definitely want to achieve fluency. Of course, accuracy as much as possible, but especially fluency and intelligibility. Intelligibility is when people can understand you and you can understand people. So you could make some sort of little mistakes here and there. The goal is fluency, like having the ability to talk and to understand. That's what I want. And the thing is, a language I could get confused with could be Italian. Italian for me is a solid rock. I have no doubts in Italian. So if I have doubts in French, they don't get mixed with Italian. Like, Italian is there and it helps me when there are similarities, but French is the language I need to work on. Italian is just a support. Spanish. Alright, so I have watched in my childhood and when I was a teenager as well, I watched so many TV shows and telenovelas from Spain and also some Argentinian ones. I love this language. When I listen to creators, when I listen to songs in Spanish, I'm like, oh damn, it has a vibe. It makes me like happy. I want to learn it because it makes me so happy. It's also very widespread language, and being able to speak and understand Spanish would definitely be an asset for me. My goal here is to reach not a B2 like French, but probably a B1, trying to get to that intermediate level. But I have to start from scratch, so that's the issue. I need to start from zero. And some objectives, some aims I have, like physical aims, are to actually film a video in French and in Spanish at the end of the year here on YouTube. And yeah, being able to actually watch content, listen to podcasts, understanding what people are saying. And then we have the last language for this year. I'm so excited and terrified at the same time. The language is Russian. My boyfriend speaks Russian. A dream I had since I was very little. You know, my family had this thing. If you are from immigrant families, you probably get this. When you are in a country with your family, you speak your language. Usually, you are in a place and you can speak your language and people can't understand you. I don't care if people look at me like, I know it's probably evil, but I love it. And it's not about talking bad about people. I'm not a terrible person, I swear. It is something that always reminds me of family. I don't care which language it is, but I need to know a language that my partner knows, and we need to talk with that language, in addition to Italian, of course. And it's also a different alphabet. It's an additional challenge and an obstacle I want to overcome this year. I want to learn a language with a different alphabet. And also the fact that when I hear Russian, it's like hearing Polish language but not understanding it. Sometimes I can understand the topic. I also had a coworker who spoke Russian and he was speaking Russian and I'm like, I need to learn this language. So the objective with Russian is to understand the alphabet, like beginner vocabulary. I want to start being able to understand and speak in Russian. I want to stop feeling frustrated because I don't understand a language that sounds so similar to my language. And yeah, so these are my language goals for 2023, and I will take you on this journey. I will record and share with you so much, and write in the comments what are your goals for this year when it comes to language learning. Thank you so much for watching this video. I wish you all good luck and happy new year, of course, and I will see you very soon with a new video.